Welcome to Project Management Bootcamp. If we are about to embark on this journey together, it will help to know a little bit about where we are going. Let's explore what a project is and the constraints or boundaries for a project. Let us together uncover what project management actually means, its cycle, and a bit about project management processes. This is the first stepping stone, and it will help to be more comfortable with the basic ideas related to project management. Let's take a walk. So what is a project, besides something that your teacher would assign you in school? The Project Management Institute, the PMI, defines a project as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The basic points of that definition are that it has a start and an end and produces something unique. You may already be executing projects in your everyday life that are as simple as painting a room to something as grand as constructing a house. A project could be even planning an event or designing a software application. But it's almost starting to sound like everything is a project. I mean, a start and an end and an outcome. Isn't sweeping the floors a project? Well, the answer is no. Sweeping the floors has a start time and an end time, and the outcome is a clean floor. However, sweeping the floors does not produce a unique outcome or a product. You may have heard the expression, housework is only noticed when it's not done. It is maintenance or operations type work. It's still valuable work. It's just not project work. Now, no disrespect to your teachers setting due dates for your projects, but really, a project only has reached its end when one of the following is true. The project's objectives have been achieved, or the project is cancelled. A project's objectives are achieved when its scope is completed and accepted by the sponsor. Some things that can cause a project cancellation are the need for the project no longer exists, for example, some change in the organization or business environment that results in the customer no longer wants the project outcome. Or perhaps the project funding or resources are exhausted or no longer available. Sometimes a project is terminated for legal causes as well. So achieving the project objectives is the happy end of a project, and project cancellation is the not so happy end. By our learning the concepts of projects and project management, we can all strive for more happy outcomes. From the definition of a project, we already understand three of its attributes: the start, the end, and the outcome. A project also has other attributes such as defined objectives and goals to help you know when it's done and what unique outcome will be achieved. For example, we are going to paint this kitchen in order to make it brighter and more pleasing to work in. A project has specifications or requirements which help define in more detail a finish line. For example, the paint we use will be semi-gloss finish, light blue, with a particular brand of paint. The scope of a project is a project attribute that will help you estimate and stay on track. For example, the scope of my painting project is to paint the walls, and after having removed all the electrical fixtures. It includes the door and window trim but does not include the ceiling or cupboards. The budget is an important attribute, as it is the money allotted to complete the project. Without the budget, a project cannot execute. A project will have a schedule beyond just the end date. It will have milestones along the way to help allocate the time given to the project. Projects have a number of other attributes such as quality requirements, resources, risks, and more. You will discover just how helpful each of these project attributes are as we continue our journey to successful project management. Constraints of a project define its boundaries. It helps you as a project manager draw lines in the sand about money, time, and what the project will accomplish. The triple constraint of scope, time, and cost are the main things for you to focus on as a project manager. Scope defines what the project will achieve and what it will not achieve. You may have heard a project manager say, "That item is out of scope." What that means is the item is not one of the things that the project planned to do. So for your painting project, it was in scope to paint the walls and the trim, but it was not within the scope of your project to paint the ceiling. Uncontrolled increases in the scope can cost your project more time and more resources. The time constraint is the calendar date by which the project should complete. It might be tempting to think of time as meaning the effort in hours to complete the project, but Those are costs. The time constraint is the date by which the project must complete. The cost constraint is the budget. The resources, both physical and human, make up the cost of the project. The cost constraint is the total allowed to be spent on the project. I have a story about good, fast, and cheap, which helps demonstrate the challenges project managers have with these constraints. My friend Bill had a faulty muffler on his car and was desperate to leave on a 4-hour drive that evening. Bill's mechanic, Sheila, was explaining that getting the right muffler for the car was expensive, as it would mean expedited shipping of the part, and delaying other work that Sheila had to complete that day. Bill was upset at the cost, and so Sheila explained, "Listen, I can do this for you good, fast, and cheap, but you can only pick two." Bill thought about it for a moment. He wanted to leave today, and the cost was too high, so he replied, "I would like it fast and cheap." Sheila strolled over to her workbench, picked up a pair of earplugs, and handed them to the man, saying, 50 cents. It should be a t-shirt. You can have it good, fast, and cheap, but you have to pick any two. But it is a reality. As a project manager, you will be working to help your customer find the right balance for their project's objectives. Every decision will be made on this triangle, and you will have the comfort of knowing that you are doing the right thing for the customer by leading them through this process of decision making.